Are you interested in frugal living and you need to either establish or refine some frugal living habits? Well, stick around because in this video, I'm going to share with you 10 frugal living habits that can change your life right now. Let's go. Welcome, I'm Amy, and here at Frugal Over 50, I give you tips and tools for frugal living. Bienvenido a mis amigas de habla hispana. El día de hoy vamos a hablar sobre los hábitos de la vida frugal que te pueden cambiar la vida. Let's talk. Number 1. Plan purchases so that you're buying something that will last. The classic example of this is the boots theory. This was created by author Terry Pratchett in one of his fantasy novels. A character in this novel, Sam Vimes, noted that if he bought a cheap pair of boots, he would have to buy a new pair of boots every year for 10 years. If he spent $10 per year on his boots, at the end of 10 years, he would have spent $100 and his feet would have been cold and wet a lot of the time because the boots were cheap. If, on the other hand, he had the money to spend $50 on a pair of boots at the beginning, that pair would last him 10 years. At the end of the 10 years, he would have spent $50 and his feet would have been warm and dry. This illustrates two challenges that we face in frugal living. Some of us come to frugal living out of a place of poverty, and it's simply not possible to buy that $50 pair of boots, for instance. In that case, it's a question of buying the best quality that you can afford. If, on the other hand, you're in a situation where you could choose the cheap pair or the quality pair, think about it long term and think about how much value you will get if you spend on quality. Sometimes the better choice is the more expensive choice because it's the higher quality choice. But regardless, think about quality. Number 2, where possible, avoid paying full price. This can be a tricky thing because there are some quality items that are only sold at certain price points. My phone is an example of that. Apple rarely puts their products on sale, and I just have to know that and live with it. But there are plenty of other things in my life where I can search out the deals or wait for the deals. And if you know, for instance, that you're going to buy furniture, think about what times of the year in your particular part of the world furniture tends to go on sale. If you're looking for office supplies, often back to school time is a great time to stock up for the entire year. And you may be buying a whole bunch, but the deals are amazing. If you're looking for spices, baked goods, that sort of thing, right before Christmas, where I live, is often a very good time. In your part of the world, it might be a different holiday. But thinking about how to buy things so that you don't have to pay full price, but you still get that quality that you wanted from number 1. And I want to take a minute here and mention once again one of my favorite rewards apps called Fetch. They are not sponsoring me, but boy, I wish they would because I love Fetch. I know you folks do because whenever I leave a link down below, a lot of you go and try it out, and I hope that you enjoy it as much as I do. In order to use Fetch, you download the app to your phone, use the link down below with my code, and you'll get $2 in rewards money free just for signing up today. Then you can either scan your receipt straight into the app, or you can connect it to your Amazon and your email and have it look for receipts anytime you ask it to. It collects points, which you can then redeem for gift cards, which you can use to buy treats or to buy quality items of your choice. Try it out with my code below and see what you think. Number 3, review your budget for things that you can change, that you can cut out, that you can move around so that your budget works better for your financial priorities and your financial needs right now. Many of us have recently had to do this very specifically with items like consumer goods, foods, household products, things that we buy often. Gas, we've had to increase the amount in our budgets there and then take out money from other places. And it's important to do that consciously rather than go, oh my gosh, did that just happen? Certainly price increases can be a surprise and can come upon us suddenly. But it's important to rebalance our budgets as often as we need to. So when you're thinking about your budget, don't just think of it as a rigid document that you have to follow, but instead think of it as a way to track your spending so that it really works for you. Number 4 kind of goes along with number 3. Once you have reviewed your budget, you might have some ideas of places where you can reduce your monthly expenses. It's possible that you have recently had to increase your budget in a certain area. Where can you cut back? Where can you say, you know, I actually don't need that. I need to move that money from that category over to here. And everybody's priorities are a little bit different. Everybody's needs are a little bit different. One of the classic ways to sort of cut back when you need to is to go through your subscriptions and see what is a surprise. What did you forget about? It might also be that you could cut back on things like driving. So there you're not really cutting back on your budget, you're changing your activities, maybe switching from driving to walking or using delivery services if that is an economical option where you live. There are a variety of ways that you can handle this, reducing those monthly expenses. But I think it's something to work into your budgeting on a regular basis. Always be thinking about, okay, I need to spend here. What can I cut back on to make that more possible? And it's always going to be a little bit of a dance, and I encourage you to think of it that way. I'm going to dance with my money, and we're going to waltz around the floor and see what lovely things we can see. Where do we want to steer away from? That punch looks a bit heavily spiked. Let's go over to this other one that's lovely and tastes nice. Think of your money and your budgeting in that way. Where can you cut back and still maintain your quality of life and keep that dance going? If you're getting value out of this video, would you give it a like and consider subscribing if you haven't done so already? This really helps the YouTube algorithm help us find new friends. And I've just started a Patreon. Speaking of new friends, I'm excited about what's coming over there. If you'd like to get in on it, click the link below and join my Patreon. Let's keep talking. Number 5, do you remember the 3 R's? Reduce, reuse, and recycle. This seems a little bit outdated sometimes nowadays because I think our pace of life has gotten really fast since the times when we first did this with such pride. But I still really like it. What can you reduce in your household or your daily life consumption? What can you reuse? And then what can you recycle? And I want to emphasize recycle in a slightly different way than we used to. We used to talk about recycling in terms of putting things in recycling bins and sending them to be recycled elsewhere. And for some parts of the world, that's still possible. Where I live, that has become a real impossibility. And so recycling is something that I can do right here, right now. One of our commenters a long time ago mentioned something that I want to share here. They said that every item that comes into their house, including the packaging, is something that they look at as a resource. So that means that if something comes in a bag from Amazon, can that bag be reused and recycled at the same time? Meaning I'm going to use that bag at least once or twice, and maybe I'm going to turn it into something else. Ribbons that come wrapped around presents can be turned into other things for other gifts or parts of clothing. My favorite, of course, is mason jars that can be reused over and over for everything from coffee to water to sourdough starter and everything in between. Thinking about reduce, reuse, and recycle as something that gives us power, even in this modern age, is something that will help you on your frugal living journey, and it is a habit, a mindset that will give you joy and peace and creativity, and you'll be more frugal. Number 7, do that return. This is a tricky one. You bought the thing, you brought it home, you said, and then a couple months went by and you forgot about it. And I'm asking you not to forget about it. Keep your receipt or whatever other record the store wants you to keep, and go ahead and make that return. It might be a small thing, that's fine. Combine the return with batching other errands so that you're not just going out to return one $5 item. But if you're already in the store anyway, it's worth it. This sets you up for frugal living efficiency because you only have things in your home that you love, that you use, that are practical to you, and you don't have any sort of loose ends hanging around. So get that return. And number 7, do that rebate. This is one I have to work on. I tend to buy something and I see the rebate slip and I go, oh yeah, I'll do that tomorrow. And then a couple months pass and I can't send in for the rebate anymore because the deadline has gone by. And I wish that I had sent in that rebate card or just gone online to fill in the rebate form. It's usually so easy. And I am one of the people they count on because they make their money by people not sending in their rebate cards or not going online to apply for the rebate. So be one of the people that gets your rebate. And I'm telling you right here and right now that I'm going to do better. I'm going to send in for my rebates too. Number 8, look for ways to make money on the side. This is one of my favorite things to do. I always like to have 2 or 3 streams of income. Now I always have one main job that provides the bulk of what I need, but it's always great to have additional sources of income that can help you shore up when you get into a little difficulty, or that you can expand or contract as your needs change over the course of your life. Many of you have talked to me about the benefits of reselling. And some of you do this as a business where you actually buy things and then resell them using various online marketplaces. Others of you have discovered you can make a tidy little income by going through your house and decluttering portions of it and selling what you're going to declutter. And you enjoy the process. The people who buy what you decluttered enjoy what they're getting, and you enjoy the money as a result. Others of us start actual side businesses. I especially love this if your health permits and your living situation permits, if you can start something that you can just keep going little by little throughout the course of your life and just enjoy it all the time. For instance, I teach voice lessons. I expect that I will continue to teach voice lessons for as long as I can throughout my life because it makes me a little money and it's also fun. So start a side hustle, get some extra income. Number 9, save money. Save money in a variety of different ways, but think of it this way. When you save money, you are paying future you to have a better life. And if it seems really difficult to save a lot, then don't save a lot, save a little bit. If you're also paying down debt, that's helping past you so that future you can have a better life. It counts. But maybe put aside just the tiniest bit into savings because it gets you in the habit of planning for the success of future you. This may be a difficult time in your life or even in the history of the world to talk about saving, but if you can automate it through a retirement plan at work or even through a small percentage of your income going towards a specific savings account, then you will empower yourself for the future. That will give you a better present. Number 10 is related. Understand the difference between investing and gambling your money. This was a really tricky one for me, and I want to explain how I came to understand the difference. If you think about gambling, you're taking money that you have that you could be using for other purposes, and you are using it in a game, and the game is set up so that there's a very, very tiny chance that you will get anything in return. In other words, I go to a gambling casino or I buy a lottery ticket or whatever method that I use to gamble, and I have a great time. But there's about a 90% chance I'm thinking I'm going to lose that money and then possibly lose even more because maybe it costs money to get there, it costs money to stay in the place, it costs money to eat food. And so at the end of the day, I've lost my initial cash and then a whole bunch of other expenses that have gone alongside it. With an investment, there is the expectation that over time, the money that I put into my investment account, while the stock market will go up and down, and it's been very volatile over the last several months. We've seen evidence of that. But over time, the stock market will increase such that the money that you put in will earn you more money, which you can then take out and live on. And there are people who actually live on the proceeds of their investments over time. Gambling is sort of a one and done thing. You go, you have fun, you're probably going to lose your money. Investing is an ongoing activity where you are planning for future you to have money because you're counting on the stock market, even in its volatility, going up and then going down and then going up again, and over time, trending generally upward. Over the last 100 years or so in the United States, that has been true. If you are not sure what to do, I'll just tell you what I do. I am not a financial advisor. But if you're not sure where to get started, a Vanguard target date fund is perfect for those of us who want to set it and forget it. You can choose the year of your anticipated retirement, make an initial investment. So if you're like me and you like to see your cash in hand or in a savings account or spread out in possessions all over your house, this may be a tricky one, but I'd like to encourage you to make that step into understanding that investing as a long-term money habit can help you live frugally, and it can change your life. What is your very favorite life-changing frugal habit? Share with us down below. And as we go about our days, let's continue to live frugally, let's continue to change our lives, and let's continue to change our world. I'll see you soon. Nos vemos en el próximo video. Bye!